With the mirrored universe Discovery sent back to its proper place in our timeline, we still have a number of temporally displaced Klingons to deal with from this infraction and J'Ula's teleportation to the future. Both of these instances involved some form of subspace rift and, as strange as it sounds, mushrooms. Still, our report has been passed on up the chain of command, and now we're on routine patrols near the core UFP systems when we pick up an urgent distress signal from an old friend.
This is Captain Kuumarrke of the LSS Riskava. My research group is under attack in the Andoria system. We believe the attackers are allied with House Mo'kai in service to Matriarch J'Ula. Their flagship is using some kind of superweapon. We've lost 3 ships to it already. To all vessels within range, please. We require immediate assistance. We can't last much longer against...
That sounds pretty dire. The Riskava is the Lukara's foremost science vessel, and although pretty well armed, it's not exactly fit for large-scale battles. Of equal concern is that she's set Andoria, one of the innermost Federation worlds and one of the big 4 founding worlds. It's not exactly a lightweight target, and we won't be the only ones responding this deep in Federation territory. What is J'Ula thinking? We make use of the Federation's transwarp network to relay to the Sol's systems corridor, which is right next door to Andoria, cutting hours of travel down to minutes. Arriving at Andoria, we find Kuumarrke's plight to be genuine.
Oh, thank you for coming, my friend. Things were looking quite grim before your arrival. The Mo'kai vessels attacked without warning. Be mindful of their flagship. It has a superweapon of unknown origin, and it is devastating.
This is bold even for J'Ula's Klingons. Andoria is not exactly a colony on the edge of space. She must have faith in this weapon.
Indeed. We'll need to act fast if we're going to save Andoria.
Agreed. What's the situation, Captain? I see plenty of 23rd century House Mo'kai ships. What's the issue?
The Mo'kai ships are old, but they've been retrofitted with modern technology. Matriarch J'Ula has been busy since her arrival from the 23rd century. Look, this cowardly attack took us by surprise. We need to deal with these raiders before that superweapon gets turned on my homeworld. Agreed?
Agreed, Captain Shamoris. The Armiger is inbound. We waste no time in joining the defence of Andoria, targeting the Klingon vessels alongside our allies, which are several Andorian escort ships from their Imperial Navy, as well as the Riskava and the USS Hoffman, which is an intelligence and science vessel Somerville class. Quite new, commissioned this year in fact.
Thanks for the assist. Our engines are damaged, but we'll join as soon as we can.
Easing the pressure on our allies, we turn further into the system, making for the moon Andoria as it orbits the ringed gas giant of Andor. As we close in, the skirmishing picks back up once more, and one of these Klingon ships is unmistakably the IKS Lukara, which is really not to be confused with the Lukari, who are our allies. For a refresher, Matriarch J'Ula of Hosue Mo'kai is a fallen Klingon house in the current year, relegated to the annals of their history, and she is the sister of T'Kuvma. We encountered her back in 2256 when she killed our Captain Schaefer on the USS Pleiades back when we were cadets. Since then, she vanished with an experimental weapon, only to reappear in the 25th century, coincidentally where we too have ended up. It seems that her weapon displaced them in time, but its potential use here could also be disastrous. Who knows how far she's taken it, or what else it may do if deployed against a planet.
That new Mo'kai weapon is tearing our ships apart!
Fire the weapon!
It has created a massive spatial rift. I'm not sure how, but it has.
The flagship is launching probes into the rift!
I wish she'd stop firing off experimental weapons with no idea what they're going to do.
We have done what we can here. Hell, leave the system. Maximum work!
With that, all the surviving Mo'kai ships immediately retreat, leaving this scar in space and floating debris behind them.
We've driven off the Mo'kai, but they left a very disturbing problem in their wake. We're not exactly sure what that rift is, or what it's capable of. I need answers to those questions. Andoria is my home, and I won't let it come to harm on my watch.
It does seem strange, doesn't it? Is this rift part of that weapon? I don't want to risk pursuing J'Ula right now with this thing here. For all we know, it could suddenly expand and engulf the planet. Oh, right, no, sorry, we'll take care of this, Captain. It almost looks like a pond or lake rippling in space. Whatever it is, many such subspace weapons are illegal in the Federation and Klingon empires for their unpredictable effects. We need to know more, so we scan it.
My readings are showing a distinct biological presence with qualities similar in many ways to that of fungi. Very intriguing. I'm afraid astro-mycology is not my specialty. I believe we'll need to consult with an expert in the field if we're to solve this riddle quickly.
Ah, right, so we need an astro-mycologist. I don't believe I have one on my crew manifest. What about you?
I realize the scientific aspects of the rift are fascinating, but let's not forget this thing appeared as a result of J'Ula firing her new weapon. It's not benign. It's meant to do harm. The way I see it, this rift is a ticking time bomb, and we need to shut it down before it explodes. Period.
I mean, yeah, even if it is an accident, last time she used it she teleported in time, so...
My science team has isolated a series of research files that could help us. They're old. From the mid-23rd century. Interesting. A good number of them are classified by Starfleet Command. At the highest level.
Are you saying Starfleet classified files on mushrooms and fungus? Why would they...
That's a damn good question. Not sure I want to know the answer. Look, finding an astro-mycologist from this century and getting them up to speed on this will take time, and we don't have a lot of that. I propose we create a holographic simulation of the author of these files, and put it to work on the problem.
That is doable. There is a precedent for creating a holo program specialist to assist with issues. If I remember correctly, the Enterprise D did something similar with a Leah Brahms program once.
Good. Let's meet here on the Hoffman. I'll talk to Starfleet about gaining access to these research notes. See you soon.
Yeah, don't be afraid to name drop me, I am an admiral after all. So, here we have a rift to subspace with some fungal organic readings on the other side, while the Mirror Universe crews that were brought here a while ago were also covered in mycelium. And J'Ula's weapon had something to do with research gleaned from the USS Glenn in 2256, which was highly classified. I think it's all part of the same project, but what could be so bad that Starfleet locked it away, and locked away all references to it? And why? We assemble an away team and beam on over, and we bring Tarsi. This is, after all, about Andoria.
Welcome aboard. Hope you're ready to go to work, because we have a lot of work to tackle and very little time to do it in.
I suppose it's a good job you're a science vessel. Our local database contains very little info on this phenomena. Any change?
Some. My people believe we're looking at some kind of quantum-level mycelial thread. Basically a giant extra-dimensional fungus. A giant extra-dimensional fungus that somehow serves as a portal into another plane of existence.
Extra-dimensional fungus that teleports. Gee, I hope I get a satisfying answer as to how it does that. But right now, priorities. How do we close it?
We're working on that with you, the Lucari, and hopefully the hologram we're about to deploy. Let's hope they have the data we need to get the job done.
To the holodeck then. The captain then escorts us just down the hallway to the nearest deck, and we set about our task. Funny, it wasn't too long ago that Dr. Julian Bashir submitted a report on the Herc and their fungal diet, speculating that there may be some missing link between that and the Alachi, which are also fungal aliens.
Okay, let's get started. I'll initiate the basic holomatrix while you upload and integrate the relevant personality and research data.
Understood. So this will be a holo program created based purely on the computer's interpretation of personnel files and information at hand, so expect some discrepancies.
Okay, merging your data with the core holomatrix. Now, Computer, initiate program Papa Sierra 1.
Starfleet. I should have known. There's no way in hell I'm letting you weaponize my work. Also, I don't appreciate being kidnapped, drafted, whatever this is.
Damn it. The simulation isn't accessing data from his Starfleet career. Computer, initiate full security override on my authority.
Hello? Is your universal translator working?
Here,
Anyone?
use my
Who's
Admiralty
in charge
codes.
here? You? It's you, isn't it?
That should do it. Computer, reinitialize program.
Please state the nature of the mycelial emergency.
Does Starfleet issue holos always have... Never mind. So, we brief our holo Paul Stamets on recent happenings.
You know, I was afraid something like this would happen. I told Strahl that our work could get twisted into some sort of weapon. I never expected the Klingons would be the ones doing the twisting.
No, your logs and notes that aren't censored are full of objections to Captain Lorca's indifference and general concerns levied at being drafted into Starfleet.
Give me a second. Reviewing your current data. Got it. Okay, we need to know more about the probes this time-traveling Klingon fired into the mycelial network. I'll run some simulations, see what I can find out.
Before we continue, can you tell me just what this thing is? I've literally never heard about it.
It's a subspace realm that spans the entire multiverse. That's our universe and all other quantum realities all connected to the network. The network contains the roots of a certain type of fungus, and if you know how, you can use the spores of that fungus to access the network. I'm one of the few people to figure out how to do that, by the way. I'm assuming that's why I'm here now.
Your assumption is correct. You picked a rare field of expertise, Mr. Stamets. This is the quickest way to access all this information, complete simulation or no.
The Discovery was equipped with a spore drive, and with it we were able to travel immense distances almost instantaneously, thanks to the network. It wasn't always an exact science, though. If you weren't careful, you could wind up in another dimension, or another time.
Plus, the information provided to Starfleet lists both the USS Glenn and Discovery as victims of their own drives, lost with all hands, so it's no wonder this thing got shelved. But the classified nature goes deeper than that, than just a failed experiment, doesn't it?
All right, any more questions, or shall we get back to work?
So, how has this technology, which seems to be geared towards travel, become weaponized? You clearly had theories.
I need more data on this Klingon superweapon, but if I were to guess, I'd say it's meant to disrupt a localized section of the network. That disruption, in turn, damages the corresponding section in our universe. Problem is, damage in the mycelial network tends to spread and grow in magnitude. Unchecked, this type of attack could spread through the entire network, which would be very bad.
So, another reason not to mess with this mycelial web, it's very delicate. So, just how bad is very bad?
Bad on an apocalyptic scale. Simply put, if she keeps doing this, she could bring an end to all life in all universes.
Right. Is that hyperbole or gradual? Because that seems dire.
All right, any more questions, or shall we get back to work?
You're very snippy, aren't you? Now, the files do say you were difficult to work with. Alright. Computer, recreate the PS Mycelial Lab.
Nice touch. I'd have been fine with a lab from this century, but it's the thought that counts, I suppose. I'm going to run some calibration tests. I'll need you to handle the radiation and spore saturation levels.
Yeah, alright, although I am a tactical officer, not a mushroom scientist.
I'll start the calibration, then the monitors will show you the level of radiation and spore saturation in the chamber. You'll need to adjust it up or down as we go. Don't let it get too high or too low. If the levels go out of bounds, I'll have to reset the simulation. That's annoying, so don't do it.
Okay, think I understand. So, our experiment has us running in between two consoles, either adjusting the levels up or down on the two bars. We need to keep the indicators in the safe zone as it continually slides up on one bar and down on the other.
Spore saturation is too high. Reduce it before it crashes. The simulation is picking up speed. Stay sharp.
I found it easiest to manage when I all but overcharged the levels on one, then let it fall naturally while I balanced the other. And at no time did my crew help out. I'm pretty sure they enjoyed me running around. It's probably revenge for all the times I've ordered the armature too close to one anomaly or another.
All right, we're good here. Let me take a look at the results. Interesting. First thing, we can use the rift to transport into the mycelial network, which is good because we need to go there to figure out what this J'Ula is up to.
Right. No, wait, what? We're going where?
Sorry, got ahead of myself there. I'm detecting radiation coming from the rift of a type unique to 23rd century Klingon tech. It's probably coming from those probes J'Ula shot into the network. Whatever they're doing in there, it's probably not for the benefit of life, the universe, and everything.
Okay, so the Klingons have entered into that rift and set up something we need to undo. Okay, an objective.
Sounds like we need to send an away team into this mycelial network to gather more data on the problem and deal with whatever House Mo'kai is doing there. I'll set up a mobile emitter so Stamets here can go along. I have a feeling we'll need his expertise on the other side of that rift.
Yes, because God knows none of my guys know anything about this mycelial web. As for the mobile emitter, well, in Star Trek Online, Starfleet managed to replicate the tech from the Doctor's emitter, which has led to no small number of holograms that can accompany away teams. I should also point out that Starfleet generally frowns upon creating sentient holograms, as the EMH Doctor is, because of the questionable nature of forming artificial intelligences, so such advanced programs are still rare. This Stamets is merely a self-aware program.
All right, transporter's ready and standing by to beam you into the mycelial network. I took the liberty of sending your ship the adjustments. Your away team will be ready to join you there. Just say the word when you're ready to go.
So, Stamets has his mobile emitter equipped and will be our walking database for our away mission into the web.
Good luck in there. We'll be monitoring from here. Energize.
This is not like my last visit to subspace, that's for sure.
Welcome to the mycelial network. Alright, we don't have a lot of time. Between her weapon and whatever tech she's put in here, J'Ula's done a lot of damage. We need to put a stop to it before it gets too far gone. Let's head toward those Klingon energy signatures. Seems like a good place to start.
So this place has been a secret for 153 years. Amazing. This place is something stinging me.
That would be the J'Sep. They're a sentient spore-based colony life form. My records indicate they act to decompose any material that's alien to the mycelial network, like you, for example. Adjust your personal shields to this setting. It should protect you from their nibbling.
Oh, okay. Would like to have known that before I beamed in.
Good. Whatever's happening with that Mo'kai tech hasn't spread here. Not yet, anyway. Take some samples from healthy spore clusters. We'll need them for comparison studies later.
So, of course, in the shows, we learn that part of the classification of the spore drive and all related tech was also because of the existence of Section 31's Control AI, as well as the spore drive's connection to the Mirror Universe, both of which are also heavily redacted entities within Starfleet. Basically, the Discovery's association, and therefore the drives, with both of these led to Starfleet putting a lid on the whole thing, with the drive considered no great loss because of the myriad of issues that could arise when using one. We set about collecting our samples of healthy Prototax T's stellar Viatori.
You really can't appreciate this place until you see it for yourself.
Yes, it's very neon. How lovely.
This is serious. If the network is damaged beyond repair, it could end all life, everywhere.
I'm not sure as to how. Do you mean, like, immediately? Is that just Stamets' view coined in his research, or an actual potential outcome here? Because his notes do go on to speculate that this subspace organic web might have allowed life to propagate throughout the universe at some point. Maybe it still does. And it is clear that there is still a contained ecosystem here, but if all that were to vanish, then what? Just no more life being spread amongst the stars? Or is he saying whatever contaminant is in here would also spread? That seems more likely. We collect our samples of healthy fungus, but something strange happens with some of the ambient spores. They're not spores.
Hold your fire. I'm pretty sure she comes in peace.
I know you, but Commander Patel.
Outsiders. I am of the Giuseppe. We are people of this realm. We have met people of your realm before. Many of them have traveled here. Others from your realm have sent things that are hurting us. You must make this stop.
It takes a second to adjust because this ghost from the past we saw die at Prior's 5D.
I created this form to give the Giuseppe voice, to communicate with you. Based on your memories, Patel is compassionate, idealistic, someone who protects, someone like the Giuseppe.
Well, clearly she left an impression on a young cadet once. I appreciate the gesture, I think.
We waste time. Strange devices have been brought here. They make the fungus sick. They are making the yield tree bloom.
Okay, I don't know what a couple of those things are, but we are here to help if we can.
This yield tree she's talking about is bad news. The Giuseppe aren't fond of it, and with good reason. Its bark is toxic to them.
Okay, but it occupies some rung in this ecosystem. What's wrong?
There was a tear in the sky, and a device came through it from your realm. It gives off strange light and heat at all times. This is what brings the sickness and the poison. We know it. The device is deeper in the forest. I will take you to it, but you must stop it. You must!
That's fine, that's what we're here to do.
Let's get moving. Looks like this device is deeper in the mycelial forest. Watch for visible signs of fungal corruption and yield tree growth. The more we see, the closer we'll be to the problem.
So, I'll have to continue my foray into the mycelial web next time, as this mission has more twists and turns to come and is quite long, and I want to explore them in greater detail as there are a lot of callbacks to earlier parts, and it will bloat this video's length, and I'm trying to catch up on a mounting workload. But for now, we have J'Ula flying around with her spore weapon, blowing holes in subspace with unpredictable effects. Well, this needs to end, with Hale's earliest experiences in Starfleet finally coming around with answers to questions that dogged him since the Academy. It seems that having given up on using the spore weapon one way, J'Ula has instead used it to open and poison the mycelial web, hoping to use its subspace spread as a delivery system for the toxin as it rots, and so too with the worlds it is connected to. In theory, at least, I think. That is still the standout issue for me with the spore drive and related devices. Warp travel has a layer of jargon behind it concerning warp bubbles, subspace and lots of energy. The coaxial warp drive is a connected point of space-time. Wormholes are based on existing principles, but there's a page missing in how the spore drive links to instantaneous travel every time I go to understand it. Still, for the sake of this tale, it's not actually overly important, just a little frustrating for me, who likes a little bit more depth than the drive provides. Still, more to come in part 2, and I hope to see you there as we continue to explore the ever-changing narrative of Star Trek Online. Thanks again for watching this part of the story series. I've been Rick, and I'll see you again later. Goodbye.